Ba-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-dum. I have been waiting to do that again for a long time. Welcome to 2025. Welcome back to the People Community Events. Oh my goodness, do we have a cool show for you today? I cannot wait to introduce our guest, but before I get there, I gotta talk about our great sponsors. Janet Mohapi Banks, so excited. I got a chance to talk with her recently. She has created the most amazing book, and it's Habits for Happiness. You need to grab your copy today and jump on the wait list for her workbook. So not only does she have this amazing book, but she's now created a workshop through what she had in the book, and the wait list is out. So get on there so that you can be part of it. It's fantastic. I love the work that she's doing. Jen Lynn, her name is Jenny Ford. You may know her as Jen Lynn on LinkedIn. She has got the Iconoclast magazine. It's more than a magazine. It's really like a temple shrine to everything that she is all about. It is the most amazing, most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It's a lot of great articles. There's a lot of fun information, a lot of beauty in this magazine. There's only going to be 5 signature copies, and then there's a whole bunch of digital copies. And you're definitely going to want to make sure that you get in with Jenny Ford, Jen Lynn UBN on LinkedIn, and check out what she's doing and what she's about. She's a great sponsor. We are really thrilled with all the work that we did with her in 2024 and 2025. Cannot wait to chew it up. It's been awesome. Nick, the gifted bipolar writer. Use your words, Chason. The gifted bipolar writer. Nick, the GBW. You'll know her as on LinkedIn. She is an author. She's an international best-selling author. She is an international best-selling publisher. She does anthologies and is now working with clients on their own material. And she is just fabulous. She's a fabulous human being. She's a great friend. She has really been awesome to us at HR for You. She got her company involved. Her company is a people first company. Shout out to Island Elevator in Long Island. Fantastic company. So really appreciate her and the work that she's doing. The Sustain Network. Oh man, Tucker Bascom. Look, he gave us a sampling of these micro classes, and we've been using them with Tez, our very first student, and he's loving them. I love them. He loves them. It's been awesome to see. It's great to have him as part of our network, part of our group. Really appreciate what he's doing and what he's done with this. And last, but certainly not least, Derek Strocum. Derek has got this mad, crazy dream of helping as many people as possible. He has polar caps, the polar ice caps that he's working on. And now in the state of New York and other states are probably going to follow, that they're letting people, that's going to be part of insurance. So people can really use that. If you've been in a place with, my wife had, all of these things going on with her, she had treatments that made her hair fall out. And I would have loved to have the polar ice caps, during that time period, because there's something scientific about the way this happens and what it does with the blood flow and reducing that with ladies especially. But it's just amazing. He works with baseball face cares to give baseballs to third world countries. And he's working with Transformation Kitchen, with HR for You at Transformation Kitchen, to get the word out and produce a a cookbook from all the work that he's doing with his speaking engagements. So really appreciate you, Derek. Big, huge shout out. And without any further ado, I've got to find all my buttons here. Without any further ado, we're bringing out Dawnell Kelly in the house. Dawnell Kelly. Love it. I really appreciate you being here with us today. Thank you so much for being part of what we're doing. Dawnell Kelly, if you didn't read the bio, she is a former naval shipboard firefighter. Holy cow. If you didn't know what a bad this lady is, it's absolutely incredible. But I mean, she's a mom. She's literally a workaholic, but she knows how to bring systems together to make things happen. And she's the founder of the Optimized Veteran, which we're going to talk about today. We're so thrilled to have you on board. So thank you for being here in the show. Thank you so much for all you're doing. I'm going to put up your QR code now. People, if you scan that QR code, that will take you to her website and tell you a little bit more, but we're going to dive in now. And I guess the first thing that I would, love for people to know is tell them a little bit more about who you are and what you're doing.
First of all, thank you, Chason. Just like in the comments, you're amazing. Everything that you've been bringing together for everybody, it's incredible. And I'm honored to be here. So yeah, I'm Dawnell, and over the years, I've really struggled in civilian life, and I realized that there's no way that I'm alone. And so, as I'm sure a lot of you in the audience can identify with, sometimes the worst periods of your life can become the best when you use them to help other people and prevent them from going through that. Have you experienced anything like that, Chason?
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah. So basically, long story short, it's a long story. I've taken the frameworks and the methodologies I've used to help 6 and 7 figure businesses, and I've added in an emotional resiliency piece. And I'm packaging it up now to help veterans who are transitioning from military to civilian life, because it's an abrupt transition and it can be very lonely and isolating, right? You go from a somebody to a nobody overnight. And getting a job is great. Wait, everybody loves a job, but it's not enough. It doesn't stop there. If you look at Maslow's hierarchy, that's like level 2, and there's a bunch more levels to reach your full potential. So I thought, how can I devise some sort of IP framework to do this? And so I'm really excited to be finally packaging this up, and I'm going to op test it hopefully next month on a group of veterans who are willing to be my guinea pigs.
Oh my goodness. Well, the cool thing is all the work. I know you've been a partner with us since 2022, but you did a lot of work with HR for You to help us get organized and help us get through some of the things that we really needed to work on in 2023. And I was thinking back about this when we were talking about the show, the way your brain works and how you organize things and really go to help people out. I know that this is going to be amazing for veterans. There's so many veteran organizations and they're all trying to do great things. So I appreciate the fact that you're kind of trying to tackle it from a little bit different point of view. Talk about how your approach really resonates so far with the people that you've been communicating with.
Yeah, so I'm approaching it from a more holistic perspective. So rather than say, what are your skill set? How can we translate to civilian life? And then you get a job and then you pay your bills and then you're good to go. I'm trying to figure out, who are you now? Right? What do you enjoy doing? What are you trying to do for the rest of your life besides get a job and find a place to live? And that can be tricky because it's like, well, how do you even begin to tackle that? And that's where the organization and the frameworks come into play, because if you can plug yourself into the framework, you can spit out a personalized answer. So there's no standardizing this process because every answer is different. And since everyone's brain works differently, it's essentially unlimited. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, that's very cool. I wonder if now how many I think you told me last time you've got something like 70 guys that are or 70 veterans that are already uh, signed up to like, oh man, that's incredible.
On the wait list, yes. So
Yeah, on the wait
I'm
list.
making sure I keep building this wait list and really figuring out what are the first steps, because like we were talking about earlier, I have a lot of, a lot going on, and I just want to give everything to everyone, and it overwhelms them. So it's like, let's
Yeah,
just start with one step at a time. So I'm writing a blog, I'm restarting my podcast, I'm putting out more social media posts, and I want to see exactly how can I help first, because I don't want to be just another resource that says you need to do this to make your life great.
right.
Like everyone's already telling you what to do. I'm trying to help
Yeah.
you tell yourself what to do. And I need
Wow.
your help to do that,
And do you find that, from your own experience, what was it like when you got out of the Navy? So you were I mean, when I sit there and I think of you and as a naval shipboard firefighter, I'm just like, this lady, I mean, I know your personality. I've spent so much time with you, but I'm like, holy mackerel. I mean, that's a huge undertaking.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, when you went from all of the things that you were doing to now, hey, I'm going into civilian life. What was it like?
It was terrifying. It was terrifying. So it's basically, this is exactly what I know is going to happen each and every day, to complete chaos. And
Wow.
so I jumped right into college because that provided some structure, but I still really struggled with mental health. I felt very alone. I kind of closed off everything military because I just felt almost like betrayed. And it was a rough road. And I don't want what took me over 5 years to figure out someone else to have to go through, if I can just give them the shortcut that I went through.
Yeah. And how are you when as you're going through and you're figuring out, what the veterans that are in the group and they're relaying what they need. How are you going to structure that? Is that going to be something that's all virtual for people so that they can plug in as they need, or are you going to have some in-person things? What is it? What do you think it's going to look like?
So far, I think it's going to be my original methodology. It's 3 pillars. So the first pillar is vision, kind of figuring out who we are, what we want. Otherwise, nothing else matters. And then the planning and the organization comes in, which is where we figure out how to do it, because everyone has a plan, but if it's not scheduled and tasks, it's not going to happen. I mean, how many how many ideas that you have that you're going to get to later, right? Do you have a list?
I have a huge list,
Yeah.
a board, all I don't know that it's always that I'm working on it. Like these
Mhm.
are things that I'm working towards.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah,
That's good. And then lastly, I think this is what really sets my methodology apart, is the mental health habits, and not trying to make the plan and working your plan the habit, because you don't really know if it's going to work. It's a great idea, you have it all planned out, but you have to take into account your life. So maybe you're over idealistic, and then you realize, oh my gosh, I have kids, I have this, I have that, this isn't going to work, and then you just give up. It's like, what if we could build in white space and other little pivots that you can make to frame it around your life, instead of you trying to squeeze this plan into what is art, like you can't. So the mental health habits is helping you rewire your brain, like build new neural pathways. Well, that sounds like a lot. Where do you get started? And it's like,
yeah,
let's just take it one day at a time. We check in every week. What worked? What didn't? Well, I really struggled with this and I had a rage attack and I scared my family. Okay, try these tools. So instead of giving you all the tools, we give you what you need. And then you use that to maintain the momentum. That's pillar 3, is maintaining the momentum. But you can only do that when your mental health is in check. Because if it was that simple, you would just Google what to do, print out the instructions, and do it. But it doesn't
right.
work like that in civilian
Yeah.
life.
Can I just print this out and then just like this is
Yeah.
my 3 steps or
Yeah.
my 10 steps or my
Yeah.
12 steps? Oh my goodness. Yeah,
So it's a lot.
absolutely.
And I think that combined with an online community, which is why I want a bigger wait list, to have a set number of community members, that will allow them to be under this umbrella together so they don't feel like they're alone. Like, this is hard work. Like, personal growth is the hardest work you will ever do in the whole world. because you have to think for yourself and you have to stay on track. Well, if you can do that in a room full of other veterans, that would be fantastic. And once we grow big enough, wouldn't it be fun to have like a map portal, right? And you can put in your zip code and then you can see if there's other veterans around and
That are
grab a
right there.
copy.
Yeah, that are in your, yeah. I
So,
know that. I love that. There's a group that I'm part of that is got like 700 members. And so you can
wow.
do that same kind of thing where you can
Yeah.
plug in and kind of see where you are and who's around you and chat with them, join in the space. So I
Yeah.
love that you're thinking about that. And I really, really love that you're looking at the mental health aspect of it as
Yeah.
a big priority, because
Yep.
that's one of the big pillars coming out, um, coming into civilian life that
Yep.
we hear over and over and over again, is that they need
Yeah.
support
Yep.
and they want people to treat them. You said this in our podcast. You said, look, we just want people to treat us like we're regular folk. I mean,
Yeah.
it's great that people are saying thank you for your service, but
Yeah.
I want to live a life and do things like everybody else does now.
Yeah.
And so, give me the opportunities to be able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, without
Fantastic.
feeling you have to fake it or water yourself down. Civilian life is like a whole different culture, different norms, different language, and it's kind of like you're just thrown in there. And you're just like, well, I don't know what to do. And you try to interact and you get a job and you tell your supervisor when you have to go to the bathroom, and it's just awkward. It's awkward. They don't teach you how to be a person out here. It's different.
I am not a veteran, but I spend a lot of time with people that are veterans like yourself.
Yeah.
And the really cool thing is when I see people like you and Kelly in the audience. Kelly works for Wheelchairs for Warriors, and just an amazing organization doing fantastic work. So hats off to you, Kelly. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Crystal, thank you. Jody, thank you. Appreciate you being here. Jody's got a lot of family members that are, military or former military. And yeah, I think that we need veterans. It's great to see veterans supporting other veterans.
Yeah.
And all of us pooling our resources together to see how do we best serve those that have been in service to us.
Right.
How can we make it a place to where we're doing that?
And it's like,
And so,
once they figure out, as soon as you know what you want and you have a plan, it's so much clearer because you know where to go. You're not just trying random hobbies or trying to force relationships that worked with the old version, active duty version of you. It's like,
yeah,
you know who you are. Like, let's say you're like, wow, I didn't realize I was really into bicycling. It's like, great. Now here's a resource, right? I'm building my network. Here's a resource that they can help you get that off the ground. Or there's a group that is obsessed with bicycling. So it's like, I just want to be like the little placeholder that you come through, you feel safe, you're not just completely out into the world. You have a place to figure out who you are, get that camaraderie back, and then you feel safe going to go do it because you have a lead to go to,
yeah. Do you think, do you have any idea about, how many of the veterans that are moving through to civilian life actually have a plan before they get out?
I think that, I don't know the stats on that, but I think the majority of them are focused on getting a job.
Yeah.
Like, I was trying to connect with some that are like within 3 months of getting out, but they're so busy. So I don't think I'm going to be able to help them as much as like when they're out, like within 12 months of completely separating. That's when they have the most time, I think, because it's all about get a job, get a job, get a job. Like that's all
Yeah.
you see. I mean, look all over LinkedIn, which makes sense, but I'm just saying, like, but then that's it. You get a
Yeah.
job and it's like, okay, on to the next veteran, on to the next veteran. It's like, but they're people now. We need more than that,
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. I have been for 3 years, this will be my 4th year coming up, that I support veterans through a company called American Corporate Partners.
Yep.
And they're veterans that are transitioning. And the biggest focus is about getting them help with a job.
Yep.
But I every single one of them that I go through and that I help, I keep up with them and I will shoot them, hey, how's your book going?
Right.
How's your, the very first one that I was supporting was a chaplain and he was working on this book and I got to see him put his first book out and I have a copy of his book right here behind me. And then, it's like watching him, he's running a nonprofit. So watching him and his wife and being able to give him some of the tools that we used as a nonprofit ourselves and say, hey, look, here's some things we could talk about that'll help you out.
Yeah.
Those are, I love having those conversations and being able to say, what do you need?
Right.
So I love that you're approaching it that way. Like, what do you need? How can we help you? And how can we be, how can I give you resources and tools that'll give you the best chance and opportunities to shine and thrive?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you hope? Now, I know you talked a little bit about, what some of your long-term goals are, having people in the group, but ultimately, what will this do for you? Like, what do you hope to get out of this personally?
Oh, yeah. So here we go. This is a warning. This is very controversial. So if you get upset easily, take some deep breaths, people. So I am not a nonprofit. I'm a business, and I will be charging veterans money to participate in this. It might be even up to like $24 a month. I know it's going to be crazy. So why am I doing this? One, businesses need money and grants are great. But I feel like, and this might be a little woo, I feel like you have to give something to get something back. So if you are paying for something, you are going to put in the work to do it. Now, if I were scamming, there would be no refund. You wouldn't be able to cancel. So this is like an option. You don't have to be here. There are plenty of free resources out there. But if they're not working for you, then I am offering a paid version, like kind of like gym memberships, charge money, or subscription-based health services, or any of those kinds of things. That's what I'm doing. It's more holistic. And so that's really interesting that people get upset when they hear that, because I am focused on helping veterans. But if I was focused on helping anyone else, nobody would care. And I could be like, oh, but I give veterans 50% off. Then I would be the hero. You know what I mean? So I think the stigma here is charging veterans is wrong. So I know as I get bigger, that's going to be it's going to be a big deal. But I did adjust it on my website, and I firmly believe that it's okay for veterans to have the freedom to do whatever they want. And that's what I'm choosing to do. But I would love to hear like what pops up in your head first, or if the comments start blowing up, give it to me.
You know what? I don't think, everybody's going to have a different take. Yep. My take is, if it is something that people feel like is going to help them and offers the resources to help them, then great. Yeah. That's great. ACP has it's as a nonprofit itself is writing the grants and then offering services that people can get. But there are, there are a lot of resources out there, as you said, that there are a lot of free resources. And then there are a lot of people that will steer them towards, hey, I'm going to help you with your resume, and I'm going to help you with this, and I'm going to help you with that.
That's true. I didn't think about that. A lot of those are paid.
They're all trying to, they don't care if they're veterans or not. They're just trying to get people to pay them.
Right.
So, the fact that I think the more upfront you are in saying, here's what we're doing and here's what it's for. I remember getting one of your recent newsletter things, and you were saying, look, it may be $10 a month or whatever it is. Yeah. This is going to cover these things. Yeah. And this is what it is. And
I guess crowdfunding would be a good way to say it. This is my frameworks, and I want to help people right now. I don't want to go through a bunch of hoops. I don't want to have to ask for grants and go through this red tape or have a board or I want to just help people right now. And I also need to pay for the software and the team that I'm going to have to hire and all of that. So it's like, you are supporting me to support you. And as we grow more profitable, I'm going to partner with nonprofits, because I am passionate about preventing homelessness, suicides, depression, anxiety. But I also want to help on the other side of the veterans that are already struggling with that. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not doing it, but I can give money to the nonprofits that are. So now we're approaching it from both sides. And I'm setting an example for veterans who do want to start their own businesses in the future. Like that might be some of them that come through that go, I kind of want to do that too. I'm going to help veterans, but then they feel guilty, bad, or what have you. So there's so much to it. And at the heart of it, I just want to help other people. And I am going to offer a 30-day free trial. Like come in, blow through the course if you want and just do it all for free. That's fine. But I feel like anything else, you are supporting something so much bigger than yourself. And so that's what makes it worth it to me,
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're being honest about everything and you're upfront with everything, and then you're also offering 30 days free. I think that's really awesome.
Yeah.
What else do you want to tell the audience about? Because we have people that are watching this, and I can't see all the comments because that's just the way LinkedIn works, and Facebook is kind of glitchy right now. But wherever we get comments from later on, we'll go back and plug in.
Yeah.
But we have a big YouTube audience that comes after the fact, and over the next 2 weeks, we'll have over 1,000 people watch this.
Yeah.
What would you like to share with them as we get closer to the close?
Yeah.
What would you like to share with anybody that we haven't covered now about what you're doing, framework, even if you just want to give a synopsis of, the whole thing?
I just want to say that you're not alone. No matter, what kind of veteran you are, you're not alone. And so I created a term called freedom shock, and that helps us to identify the struggle with the abrupt transition from military to civilian life. So symptoms of freedom shock can include things like it's been 3 months of separation, you still don't know who you are. It's been 12 months, you still don't have any close civilian friends. Every day you miss the strong camaraderie, but you don't want to join the VFW, and you still struggle to ask for help with basic life tasks like how to cook 3 meals a day. These things are normal and there's nothing wrong with you. And so I encourage you to connect with me on LinkedIn and start to see, because I post a lot about this kind of things, that there are solutions out there, and getting a job isn't the only one. That's important. You got to pay your bills and eat, but then there's other steps after that, right? You can find that sense of belonging again. You can reach your full potential, and there's so much more to you that you haven't explored yet. So I just want you to know that you're not alone, and it's not about me and my frameworks and what I'm doing. Like that's fine. Like that's my passion. That's my thing, but you will find yours, whether it's with me or someone else. There is a place for you out there. So don't just hunker down like I did for so long and just isolate. Don't isolate. There's someone out there for you. And I'm not just talking about like if you're single. It sounds kind of like I'm talking about a dating service.
Yeah. Scan that QR code. Make sure that you go to her website. It's been awesome talking with you, Dawnell. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for being on the show. Our very first show. Welcome, people. Thank you for coming to our first People Community event. Be on the lookout on the 28th. We'll be hosting Nancy Beecher. Cannot wait to have her on as well. We'll post more about that and tell you what's going on. Follow us on our LinkedIn channels, our Facebook channel, our IG, and our YouTube channel. Help us get over the 3,000 mark. We're almost 2,800 in. Help us get over the 3,000 subscriber mark. Share this with other people. We appreciate it. You have been with Dawnell Kelly. We are so thrilled to have her in the house. Give it up one more time for Dawnell in the house. Woo-hoo. Thank you, Dawnell. Really appreciate you being here and thrilled for your program. I hope this reaches a ton of veterans. Thank you so much.
Thank you.